forgot where the camera was. My two favourite bears. Right, this question is from Dan Bibliotech. What will football look like in 20 years' time? By the way, we're very hungover in this video, so it could be a bit of a state.
You haven't even bothered to get out your pyjamas.
I am wearing pyjamas as well, motherfuckers.
In 20 years?
20 years.
Assume it'll still be football. But
That's
it.
It becomes
That's the video.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks. That's it.
Becomes a bit more swimming based over the
A
years.
lot more underwater.
This is a good start.
Serious subject.
I know, very serious discussion. Yeah. I don't know, it depends the way we move forward with technology, really.
VAR is going to have a big impact, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was saying earlier that now they've kind of bought it in, it'd be very hard to get rid of VAR.
Well, it's here to stay, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
in what format and kind of how far it goes.
Still a bit of ironing out to do, I think, with it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, I don't want it to end up like American football, where it's very stop-starty, and because now we've got the replays for goals and offside and stuff. How far until manager? Well, that should have been a throw in if you go back another 30 seconds.
That's the worry, isn't it? You don't want it to go
Yeah.
too far. That is quite a big worry. I think at the moment it's kind of adding to the entertainment, but it can go too far.
It
So it
ruins
doesn't.
emotion. I mean, I was saying earlier off camera about Aguero's famous title-winning goal. That would have had to have been pulled back for potential offside.
Yeah.
So you never would have got the kind of the. You'd have to probably have waited to see if he was offside or not.
That's the worry, isn't it? Like, the best thing about football, the best feeling you have in football is that few moments where you completely lose it when your team scores a goal and you just go
euphoria,
absolutely
yeah.
mad. And it does dilute that a bit because you're always slightly worried, or they're going to have to do a check, and like anything that dilutes the best thing about football, the best moment about football, has got to be a slight concern, hasn't it?
Yes.
I think they can't go too far with it. It's got to just be for really obvious, like when it's clear cut, like offside or someone gets punched or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't want it to go too far. Well, was there a bit of a push there? Was there?
But, I mean, if you look at it, though, if you go back 20 years, how much do you think football has changed from 20 years ago to now? Apart from, probably the quickness of the game. Probably not a lot. Money. But
I mean, that's a big thing, I think.
Yeah.
Football's either going to see its first £1 billion player or it's going to crash massively.
Yeah.
I can't quite decide what's going to happen.
Could be a crash at some point.
It just
the way
feels
going.
like it's almost like unsustainable at the moment.
Yeah.
There's just so much money going around. Like every player's gone up. I mean, we're probably worth about £2 billion.
I think so, yeah.
2 million. I thought you were going to say £2.
I'm 2.5.
With inflation.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah, we've all seen my goals and my recreating.
Yeah. Beautiful.
2.5, I think, definitely. Yes, that's probably one of the big concerns. But apart from that, within the last 20 years, there's not been a huge change in the game. VAR is probably the very biggest thing that's come in.
Yeah, VAR's pretty big. But yeah, in terms of like gameplay has changed and the detail of tactics and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of the rules and stuff, there's not been much. I mean, the back pass rule was.
That was before.
30 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
It was after 1990, I think, or it was around 90.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
When was the Bosman rule coming? 94? Was it earlier than that?
Mid 90s, I think, wasn't
Was
it?
it?
I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly. I think it was mid to late 90s.
So, yeah, in the last 20 years, really, not a lot has changed. So, if you look at it like that, maybe the next 20 years, things won't change that much either.
It's just the VAR thing, isn't it? Because it's obviously new. It's how far they push it.
Well, actually, going back to what you're saying about the money, if teams are starting to get punished with financial fair play, maybe that would be the start of player prices coming down and actually clubs being sensible with their cash these days.
Do you think they'll cap it at some point? There'll be something where they've got to cut down on the. I mean, it's kind of all insular, isn't it? It's all within football. It doesn't really impact the outside world too much. But if it just carries on going crazy, then it will do eventually.
I do wonder how much there's going to be kind of big takeovers of clubs like obviously Chelsea, Man City, because that's not really happened for a while now, has it? And I wonder whether again that's another thing that's going to change and people aren't perhaps willing to pump the money in now because it's so much money now to buy a title-winning squad.
Oh God,
from scratch now.
You're talking at least 500 million.
Probably more, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Man United have spent 800 odd million in the last 2 or 3 seasons, haven't they? Really, and they're nowhere near. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it.
Man City already had a good squad, but they've spent 500 million in the last few years.
It doesn't guarantee anything, does it? People always have a go at Pep for like sort of buying his titles.
Well, that's it. When
people have spent loads of money as well.
Well, exactly. When you're Pep and Man City, your price of your players, if he wants to buy them, goes up 2-3 times anyway.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. He's having to pay premium for players.
Yeah,
like, he has to spend like 50 million just on fullbacks.
Yeah,
it's not doesn't come cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah, money. I think football will become even less exclusive to terrestrial TV. I think obviously barring, I think World Cups and Euros have to be on terrestrial TV, don't they, or something like that?
They still do at the moment, I think. Yeah,
but obviously
that could change.
You know, the like 20 years prior, we had Champions League games. We had lots of highlights and stuff. We don't. And I think it's going to become even more exclusively. I think it'll become almost more like the 11 Sports thing, where it's streaming rather than Sky and BT.
Yeah, there'll be more
be a
streaming
big
stuff.
thing.
It'll be more kind of spread around, won't it? Where it won't be like a monopoly of one or two channels.
But it's kind of different though. In England though, we get shit coverage compared to the rest of the world though, don't we? Like, a lot of countries get every game, like, everything, for very minimal amount of money.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I was talking to Canadian Rom on Twitter, and he just has access to like virtually any European game anytime he wants, kind of thing, for like not much money with their TV package. I think it's a lot better than it is here, and that's a country isn't traditionally a footballing nation compared to some others.
I think we mentioned earlier about VR.
Yes,
that'll be a big thing as well. I think obviously we've gone past the 3D thing now, aren't we? And I think the VR experience of you said about having the camera on the seat.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'm sure it was Man United who have got their best seat in the house and put a camera on it and going to trial. People can pay subscriptions so they can go on their VR headsets and watch the game like they're at the game from home, which sounds like a brilliant idea. But imagine if they did that for every seat, how dull stadiums would be. Yeah.
So in the future could just be like fans superimposed on.
Yeah.
People might not actually go to live events anymore because everything's just streamed. Everything's kind of virtual reality.
I mean, there'd be no reason to have more than one seat though, because anyone can watch.
Anyone can watch it. That's
can't
exactly right. Yeah, if it's the best seat in the house as well, like halfway.
It's not a bad idea. That if that's the way it's going.
But then it depends. You have things like Man United TV and Chelsea TV and all those things. You have to pay then a subscription on top of that to watch extra content, and then you pay a subscription to watch your VAR stuff as well. It's all massive money, isn't it? Massive money, and the cost of money, people buying big players, then it's reflecting on what the fans have to pay to go to grounds.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the price of everything's gone up, hasn't it, massively?
Yeah.
You can't get a season ticket in the Prem now for less than about 700, can you? I don't think. Well, not the lower teams, but. Arsenal season ticket prices are just ridiculous. Remortgage your house to get a shit seat.
With virtual reality, even Jamie Carragher's doing it. Have you seen him on Monday Night Football?
Press your button, Jamie.
He wears like a virtual reality headset.
Oh yeah, and
he does it like from like a player's perspective. But sometimes it could be fairly interesting, but usually just looks like a shit episode of Nightmare. It's just like even like the footage just looks shit.
Yeah.
But you can sort of see what a player can see. So it sometimes can be quite useful, like what you could see when he picked out an amazing through ball kind of thing. But it's just like Carragher bumbling around with his helmet on. It just looks pretty shit at the moment.
Always imagine when we saw Ronnie O'Sullivan playing snooker, like virtual reality, when Liam Tempest fell over.
Oh, Jesus.
Anything else we think could change? I mean, we said about standard of football with Messi and Ronaldo reaching their kind of obviously the peak, and they've gone probably past the peak now. There's nobody really, I think, that's. I mean, Mbappe looks like he's.
There's good young players coming through.
I mean,
the thing is, they've raised the bar so much. It used to
from
be
a young age as well. Not when they got to like 26, 27. When they were 20, 21, if not before that. They were already like the best in the world.
Yeah. I think they've raised, because it used to be, didn't it? Like you'd say, a striker, if they got a 1-in-2 goal ratio, that was like a sign of a good striker. Now it's got to be like closest to a goal a game.
Yeah.
Even like Harry Kane has seasons where it's pretty much a goal a game.
Yeah.
It seems like the standard has been raised for what's expected. Like, is that going to carry on at that rate? Or will it just even out, so defenders will become better, goalies will become better, and it will just kind of stay on a similar trajectory?
Yeah,
or will it be that in 20 years' time, could it not be that your goal involvement, so like goal and assist combined, you're expected to get like 2 a game, like a goal and an assist a game? Would that happen at some point in the future?
It could do. I mean, I think after Messi and Ronaldo, we're going to have a bit of a slump in football, really, compared to like, actual
quality,
great players. We'll have your Mbappes and your Neymars and stuff, but Hazard, are they really that level?
Yeah.
I think it's just freakish. I think we've been very lucky to live through that period because, you know, basically it's like two once in a lifetime players.
Yeah, of course, at the same time.
Playing for like rivals in the same league
and you
as well.
feel like, I think we've touched this on a video before. I think we've said like they've pushed each other, haven't they? If it was just Messi or just Ronaldo, they'd still be banging goals in because that's what they do. But I think having that kind of playing in the same league when they were playing in the same league, it just really pushed them both.
Yeah, one got a hat trick like the next night, the other one has to get a hat trick to match them, kind of thing.
Yeah. So another thing then that could probably change in the future: competitions. Breakaway European League, Champions League.
I hope there's not a breakaway European League. I think
that'd be really weird
because the teams at the top with all the money, they can say pretty much what they want, can't they? Really, can do what they want.
Teams playing games in China, etc., America.
Yeah,
I think that'll start happening more.
There was talk fairly recent, maybe like a year or so ago, about having one game a season somewhere in like America or something like that.
Well, that was in Spain, wasn't it, La Liga?
Yeah, that was it,
and then they kicked off, then I'm not sure actually what happened with that, but it was like a Barca, Girona or something really weird.
I think it will start happening more, that sort of thing, because obviously do it in like American football, don't they?
They do that loads, and baseball.
Yeah, because they already do like pre-season tours of places, don't they, really?
It just feels like the next step is to go and play like maybe 10 Premier League games a season. It would just be weird, wouldn't it, if you're like in China it's like Brighton against the Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Wouldn't really.
It only kind of really works if it's like your top end teams, doesn't it?
Yeah,
really?
but then they're involved in a title, usually involved in a title run, so it'd be a bit weird to suddenly play a game.
Yeah, because it wouldn't really be, you wouldn't have home advantage or anything. Exactly. It'd just be straight. Yeah. I mean, it's the same for both teams, but it might be a bit of a leveler, like if it's a big team playing against a not so big team. Yeah, like you say, if it's going for a title, you don't want that game coming at the wrong time, do you?
No, it'd be horrible.
So, okay, then maybe not that then. Champions League, do you reckon that could change? More teams, an extra place?
The thing is, it's already weighted towards the top leagues anyway, isn't it? So you get, if you can get 4 from a country, then you generally get 1 from the sort of lesser country. So I can't see them being able to sway that even more. Like if they open it up to 5 places, that'd be a bit
more likely
dodgy.
to change the Europa League.
Yes.
I think that needs changing though, doesn't it?
It's just like, I mean, the Champions League's brilliant. I've said before in videos that I absolutely love the Champions League. I just think the Europa League's trying a bit too hard to be like the Champions League.
Just make it knockout.
Yeah, straight knockout was great, like the Cup Winners' Cup, that sort of thing. Or, if you want to say maybe when it gets to the quarters or whatever, have 2 legs or something.
Yeah, I mean, because it's almost like, if you're in the Europa League, it's almost like a disadvantage, isn't it, really? Because you have to play a lot of games.
Yeah.
And you play like on a Thursday and a Saturday or whatever, or Wednesday and a Saturday or
it's
something
usually
like
Thursday, Sunday.
Yeah, so if you made it straight knockout, if you go out, it means you can have an extra push to your season and get higher up the league and maybe finish Champions League.
And I think teams would take it more seriously as well. Because I hate it that some of the smaller teams, say if like Wolves got to the Europa League, they all seem to like love the idea of getting there, they push for it. Then once they're there, like when was it Stoke? They just played a reserve team. I'd be fucking livid as a fan. I'd really want to be in Europe. But maybe if it was straight knockout and you'd have to play so many games, teams wouldn't see it as such a grind and they would actually take it a bit more seriously.
But a lot of travelling, more travelling because of the lesser teams. You get teams in like Siberia, don't you? So it's basically like 7-hour difference, flights and everything like that. Yeah. It's been a nightmare for teams to arrange.
But I mean, that's where the money's at the Premier League, though. So if it starts affecting your Premier League form, you're going to have to.
Well, that's the thing. That's why people do it. But I'd hate it, especially if you're not going to go down. If you look at a team that's going to be around sort of mid-table. Then, if Derby went up and got in the Europa League, you'd be so freaking excited. You'd be absolutely loving Derby playing in Europe. I'd want them to prioritise that.
Yeah.
The one time you can see Derby in Europe, you actually got a small chance of winning or getting deep into it, kind of thing. You'd but no one seems to give a shit until they get to quarters, semi-final. Then people start thinking, actually, this is a trophy in a way into Europe.
That's the league format of it, though. It just gets confusing for people, doesn't it, with leagues and. You're having to, like I say, more travelling, more, and I just think it's not that interesting. I think just straight knockout.
I think that would be a good. That'd be a good change.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing then, international competitions. We know the World Cup's going up in teams, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, we've obviously now got the home nations and all that kind of stuff, haven't we? The Nation League.
The Nations League. I think that's pretty good actually.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's very new.
Yeah.
But it's just made what would have been international friendlies, which are generally pretty boring, it's made them more exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something riding on it, which I think is a good thing.
I agree with that, definitely.
I think it has been anything that adds entertainment is going to be good for the game. I get, like, was it Klopp who said, I don't want every international game to be like a cup final.
Yes.
Because there's, you know, your players get injured and it's like too intense, but it's better for the fans, so fuck it.
I think expanding the World Cup to, was it 48 teams is bollocks. I fucking hate that. You're just going to end up with some shit teams in that, aren't you? You end up with, like, you know, your Luxembourg somehow getting in or something like that, and it just feels like there's going to be, I assume if there's 48 teams, it means there's always going to be games played at the same time.
Yes.
So you're never going to see
everything. Because like, you've watched pretty much every game at every World Cup.
I always like book it off work.
Yeah.
Just watch every minute of every game.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that, would you?
Split screen, maybe.
Yeah.
Just monitor
DR. You and Jamie Carragher.
Right. If you're watching, Jamie, come round.
Yeah.
So that wear his helmet.
What you're saying though, you mentioned about Klopp saying he doesn't want every game, like international game, to be like full-blooded game.
Yeah.
How do you think then within the next 20 years, Premier League squads or club squads go up from, is it 25 players they have now, maybe up to 30, so it's more rotation, bigger squads means more players can play more internationals, and if someone gets injured they've got a replacement player.
I reckon if they do that, they'll put a quota that you've got to have a certain amount of like homegrown.
Yeah.
Don't we have that already?
In.
Is it 5 in England?
I think if they up the squad, then they'd make it more. I think
like a 7
you've got to have like some that have come from your academy or something like that.
Which is not a bad thing. That'd be good for. I mean, those players probably won't play, but are they playing now? You know what I mean? But at least gives them opportunities to be in the squad.
Yeah, I think that's I think with the World Cup and the Euros next. I mean, the Euros expanded the teams anyway, didn't they? In the last one.
Yeah,
they had more in that, and in fact, that worked alright. Now I thought, I just don't think you should fuck about with the World Cup now.
I don't mind with the smaller nations because it has changed a bit. You don't really see many awful teams now. Like it used to be, not even that far back, you'd get some proper whipping boys that get absolutely destroyed. You don't see that as much now. Most teams are kind of smartened up and they've got a reasonable tactician as a manager. But it wouldn't bother me too much having some absolute dog shit teams in there, just because as well the fans of those nations still deserve a chance to one day see their team in the World Cup, even if it's just getting drubbed. But there's something quite entertaining about just seeing loads of football you've never seen before, and they like barely know the rules. That's great. That's like an iconic World Cup moment, and that probably wouldn't happen every game. But yeah, I don't mind the idea of there being some dog shit teams kind of kicking around that you only get to see like once in a while.
Yeah, it would be good.
But
I just think, I don't know, the World Cup just works the way it is for me.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with it too much.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think Chelsea will, in 20 years' time, have about 500 players on the books.
Yeah.
And they will have at least one player out on loan with every club in Europe.
We'll do a 20-year special in 20 years. See if this works. Right? See if you're right. Yeah.
Anyone else with a prediction for the future?
So I think there might be a player that gets a 2-goal, 2-goal contribution per match.
I think we'll see one of the big teams get relegated.
Do you like a big financial meltdown?
Chelsea get done for like this financial fair play kind of thing. They have to sell some of their better players. Something like that. They can't replace them. Have a bit of a dog shit season. And
exciting.
Yeah, that will be quite exciting, but I think in the next 20, 25 years, something like that will happen.
Well, it happened with Juventus in Italy, didn't it? Match fixing and stuff. But you could, if you're too dodgy, if you're really bending the rules, then they might just make an example of one club.
Yeah, I mean, it happened with Rangers, didn't it? They obviously had loads of money problems, didn't they? So, I reckon in the next 20 years, something like that will happen. One of the big boys will go down.
It'd be quite funny.
Yeah. Anything else? We all right?
I think we're good.
Think so.
We'll revisit this in 20 years then.
Yeah.
Might see you then.